Sandra D, and this is Ready, Action, a show about acting for income and entertainment. Thank you for tuning in today to learn more about how to become an actor. Today's episode is about something every actor, no matter how experienced or inexperienced you are, something that you're going to need to know, and that is the audition process. So when you get your sides, these are some of the things that I do, okay? I will get my sides on my email. I will print them out, and I will look them over and read and read and read and walk around with them and try to memorize as much as I can. It's usually a page to no more than 3 pages, but it could be more, could be 10 pages. One of the real wonderful things that I have learned, which works for me, is to tape record my fellow actor on a recorder, and I will say my lines back to my recorder. I put the information right on my iPhone on the recorder, so it's so convenient, and I'm nailing it because I am focusing and hearing the lines through my recorder. So that's my process. Like I said, other people have other processes, but that works for me. Okay, you want to spend time thinking about your role, not necessarily your lines, but instead who you are, where you are, what you are feeling at the time of that audition, and what made you feel the way you do when you're thinking about your lines, okay? The audition starts from the time you walk in that door, in that building. So remain professional at all times because you never know who's looking. And the receptionist, that's part of the team too. And they're looking in general for a character that they can work with, someone that they can work with, someone that fits in to their whole operation there. So you're going to introduce yourself to the panel. You're going to reiterate the character that you're reading for. You're going to create a strong tableau for your audition piece and hold it for a split second before beginning. Many of the folks in the room are looking to see how your physicality changes at this point. So be sure to demonstrate good characterization in your opening moment. The director should see an obvious difference between you and your character. So make sure that that is shown. Don't get offended if the director asks you to read your lines again, but in a different way. Because they might be trying to see how to build this character in a different way by fitting you in. It's not necessarily that they didn't like what you did. So don't get offended, don't get nervous, and don't think they don't like you, because that's not always the case. So if you have a part where tears are involved, you're more impressive if you can hold those tears in and they can actually see that you are in a place. And those tears, you're fighting back those tears. That's more impressive than you blubbering and, you know. So it's more impressive that you're showing the emotions and it's very strong and you're holding them back because you're giving them something to wait for. So be careful with showing too much. Okay, so all of that is if you have sides. But what about if you have a cold reading? With cold readings, you just have to maintain professionalism. Practice at home with other pieces that you have on cold readings constantly. Make sure that you're at home when you're reading, read out loud and you're practicing. Create chemistry with your fellow actor. Because if you're creating chemistry, the casting director and everyone else in the room, they will believe that you are thinking and feeling the words on the page. So creating that chemistry is really, really important. The most important thing, I think, is connecting with the other character. Don't use props unless they make you use props, because it's distractive and you don't need anything taking away from your audition. Very important not to do things, wear things, say things that would distract others from you. Make eye contact with your panel when that is appropriate, when you're finished, and say thank you. Okay, actors with knowledge and experience, they know how to make the auditioners in the room feel comfortable. One of the ways that you can do that is to simply, when you're finished with your audition piece, freeze after the speech, after your character for just a moment, and then return to your natural stance. That shows that you have ended. Now make eye contact with the casting folks and say thank you. But it's very important to, after you finish, freeze and then go into a natural stance. Okay? So you may feel that the casting directors are rejecting you, and they may cut you off and say thank you for coming today because they might not have liked what you did, or they might not like you, but you know, at all times you should remain professional and thank them for the time that they have given you, because you never know when you might run into that casting director again, and they will remember your poise and your professionalism. Do not call them to follow up. You might have an agent or a manager that you can do that with, and you can follow up just to see what happened, but never call a casting director or producer to find out if you got the role or how you did. This is Sandra D. Thank you for coming today. I hope you learned a lot about auditioning, and this is Ready,